Hey, what's up guys? My name is Cherno and welcome to episode 24 of Game Programming. So yesterday we took a little look at how movement sort of works, and we also made our game focus. And today we're going to actually start on the level class. And just this episode, I'm sort of going to give you guys an overview of what the class contains and what the class will basically do. All right. So first thing we're going to do is actually create the class. So in actually just in our source thing, in our navigator here, in just our rain folder, we'll just make a new class and we'll put it into its own package called .level, all right? Because the level package is actually going to be pretty big, right? It's going to contain all of our different level subclasses, as well as stuff like tiles and any other entities that actually are contained in our level. So that's why you sort of want to make a different package for it, just to organize everything. We're just going to call it level, and this is going to be our primary level class. Now, this level class is going to do a few different things. Because a lot of you probably don't really have, well, you probably have different ways of making levels, right? I don't want to really limit you by just showing you one way. So I'm sort of going to be constructing levels using two ways. One is just going to be very simple random generation, just to kind of quickly and easily see if our level actually constructs correctly without having to actually spend a lot of time on making the level. And then the second level is actually going to be, from an image file, which actually contains data as to which tile is where. So to do that, we're going to need two constructors, because every time we make a new level, we're actually making a new instance of the level class. So the first thing I'll do actually is I'll make two variables called width and height. So private int width and height. Again, not going to assign anything to them right now. And width and height probably isn't even going to be applicable for the random generation level. For the from file level, because the width and height will probably just get from the file itself. So this is primarily for the random generation level. The other thing I'm going to do is actually make another private int, and it's going to be called tiles, and this will actually contain data as to which tile goes where. So in other words, tile IDs. So we know at which index we actually draw a specific tile. So now for the constructors, right? Public level. This is going to be the constructor that actually This is going to be the constructor that actually generates a random level. So because random levels can be any size, we actually have to define a size for it. So int width and int height, so that when we actually create a randomly generated level, we actually, specify a size as to how big we want the level to be. And what we'll do here is we'll simply set this dot width equal to width, this dot height equal to height, tiles equal to new int width times height, and finally we'll actually create random level. All right, that's what I'll call the method, and we can just quickly create that method. So this level, again, will actually generate, I might actually rename it to something like generate level. All right. So again, it's gonna, basically all it's gonna do here is gonna set the width and height of the level, create that amount of tiles. So in other words, if we have a level that's 4 by 4 tiles, that's 4 times 4 tiles in total. So that's 16 tiles in total are in that level. Because obviously, I don't really think I need to explain that in depth, because we've got a tile for every square meter or square unit. So yeah, and then finally, once it's done that, it's actually going to run the code which actually generates that level, which we'll actually look at in the future, because there's no point of doing it now, because, well, one, I want to give you guys an overview of this class, and second of all, we actually haven't made many tiles. So maybe after we actually have a bunch of tiles and we have, bunch of different elements to put into our level, we can run this generation thing. Now, the other constructor is going to be to actually generate or load a level from file. So we'll just call it public level, and then we'll just call it string path into our parameters. So it's going to take one parameter, and it's a string. It's just basically going to be the directory of the actual level. And then all we're going to have to do here is just simply load level. And then we'll put path in as a parameter. So that here, private void load level, string path. And again, what this method is actually going to do is load a level from a path. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way, and you can see it's very simple, is because all of the code which actually contains width and height is probably going to go into here, so that we can easily read the width and height of the actual image. So from the file, when we actually load the level file, we'll just read the width and height of the level from that file itself. And tiles, again, we'll create the tiles within this constructor. We've got like quite a bit more to go here, but they kind of depend on other classes like tile classes, which I'm not going to get into now. But the other two main things is public void update. Again, this is public, don't forget. And what the update method is going to do is, as you can imagine, update our levels. So things like artificial intelligence, for example. So if we have like bots, or well, not really bots, but like well, yeah, bots, I guess. Just like creatures that move around the level, their position and stuff is going to have to be updated. Entities that move within the level, entities that get updated somehow within the level. This is all going to happen at 60 frames per second, or 60 updates per second within this update method. And then finally, public void render. And again, this is going to render everything. And this will actually take a few parameters, which will be like the X position or the X scroll. So in other words, that's sort of where we've scrolled the map to, scrolled the level to. Y scroll, again, that's just the X and Y of where the map is at. And the screen class is also going to have to be included there, because remember, the screen class is actually what draws onto our monitor, onto our game. And we'll just import that. So this is sort of a quick overview of the actual level, of the base level, all right? Because we'll actually create subclasses to this thing where level is their superclass, which will contain specific, which will obviously inherit all of this, but also contain specific methods and stuff like that. For example, for like a night level or something like that, we'll actually just create a subclass of this. So remember, the way that we sort of want to structure our game is in a way that we want to maximally reduce redundancy. All right, we don't want to have to type the same code twice at any point in time. So in other words, what we're basically saying here is, let's just put everything. If any two levels seem to have the same properties, right? So for example, they both, or in other words, maybe all of our levels actually depend on a time. We want to actually make a method here, which will actually probably do that, because I sort of like playing around with different brightnesses and getting the level to maybe even dynamically change. So like something Realm of the Mad God doesn't do is obviously there's no like time in it. There's no time of day. There's no night time. Maybe we could have day-night cycles, kind of like in Minecraft, but in our Realm of the Mad God type game. So that's again something that we can put in public void. In fact, probably be private. Whoops, private void time. And then this will manage the time, because, and again, I'm putting it into our main level class just because time is going to be pretty much in every method. In every subclass of level. So yeah, remember, in this class, we're not actually going to be doing any like hardcore things like actually rendering. This render method will be probably absolutely empty, like as in we won't actually expand this at all. We'll just create a superclass for it and then override it. But this is sort of like the template for our levels. So so yeah, that's just how it works. And again, next time we'll probably get into actually trying to render like a test level to the screen with multiple tiles maybe. And yeah, we'll get onto it into generating like a random, just a really basic random level. So yeah, until then guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time tomorrow. Later guys.